My name is Professor Randall, and this morning we're going to talk about mathematics. Mathematics is something that I'm very excited about because it's a language all in its own. And one of the things that we're going to talk about this morning is order of operations. And the reason we're going to talk about that is because with the order of operations, we'll be able to solve basically all of our problems. And when I say that, we're talking about parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, from left to right, whichever comes first. Okay? Now, parentheses are symbols. They look like this, they could look like that, and so forth. Exponents. When I talk about exponents, it's a number raised to a power. 4 squared. 4 squared means 4 times 4, which is 16. Okay? And of course, multiplication and division, which we see here. Again, that same problem, we could take and put a division sign. Again, that's that language. And that would be 1. Of course, 4 plus 4 equals 8. And 4 subtract 4 is 0. Now, of course, neatness. Whenever we're working on our problems, it's always imperative that we line things up. For example, if we have 4 and 5/10, and we add 1 and 6/10, we don't want to put that 6 way out here. Okay, we want to put it right underneath the 5/10 so that we keep everything in order. Okay? So, again, if we add this, that's 11/10. We put 1 here, carry our 1, and then we have 1, 4 is 5, and 6, and 1/10. Now, we've done a little adding there, and so forth. But now we got to talk about this order of operations. All right. Now, again, we could have a problem, a simple problem, and we'll start off with a simple problem. For example, you might get 100 subtract 15 divided by 9 plus 8. Okay? Okay. Now, order. What do we do first? We could subtract, or in the numerator, 100 minus 15, and we get 85. Again, we borrow, that becomes a 9, and so forth, and that's 5, and then 9 minus 1 is 8. So our numerator is 85. And then at the bottom, our denominator, 9 plus 8 is 17. And now we have a division problem. Again, 85 divided by 17. Oh, made a mistake. Again, don't claim to be perfect. 17. And you ask yourself, in this case, the answer is 5. And 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 1 is 5, plus the 3 is 85. and your answer would be 5. Okay. And again, that's an order of operations. And you may get a problem that looks different than this. And that's when we'll have a situation where we'll have parentheses. And inside the parentheses, it will say 2 subtract 1. Okay? Outside the parentheses, it may say 8 times, that little dot represents times, plus the quantity again, 8 subtract 5, times 7 equals. Again, order of operations, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction from left to right, whichever comes first. So again, parentheses. We're going to just say it out here, times 2 minus 1 is 1, plus, what's in parentheses we're going to do? 8 minus 5, that's 3, times 7 equals. Now, we've done what's in parentheses. Now again, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, whatever comes first. Over here we have multiplication. So 8 times 1 is 8. Plus, again, we have multiplication. We do that first. 3 times 7 is 21. And the last step, addition, which is 8 plus 21 equals 29. Order of operations. Okay? Very good. Sometimes your teacher is going to give you values of variables. And I want to talk briefly about variables. Variables are a shorthand way in order to express a mathematical expression. For example, we may have 2ab equals. You can't do that the way it is. And let's say that you are given a problem where you have 2ab, but also you'll be given a value of a, which may equal 3, and a value of b, which equals 4. And right now we're making this very simple. So then you come down, and again, when you have something written like this, even though you don't see it, it means multiply. Okay? So that's 2 times a times b equals. Now we know the value of a and b. So here we go. 2 times 3 times 4. 2 times 3 is 6 times 4 equals 24. That's simple. And I say that it's simple, but it's not going to be simple if we don't know our basic facts. Our basic facts for addition, our basic facts for addition and subtraction, our basic facts for multiplication and division. Now, I always say that those basic facts are relatives of one another. And what I mean by that is, let's take 8 times 4. That equals 32, doesn't it? Okay? Now let's turn it around and say 32 divided by 4 and 32 divided by 8. Now here we go. Basic fact. What number? It says here 832, and how many 4s can you get out of 32? What do you know? If you know your basic multiplication facts, what number multiplied by 4 will give you 32? It's right there, 8. And that's the answer to 32 divided by 4 is 8. And then you go. And you have no remainder. Over here, again, relative. What number multiplied by 8 will give you 32? If we know our multiplication facts, we can do our basic division facts. Okay? So here we go again. 4 times 8, 32. 32 divided by 8 is 4. No remainder. Relationships. I believe that multiplication and divisions are relatives, cousins. That's what I call them. Same thing holds true with subtraction. 5. Subtract 1 is 4. How do you know it's right? Take this 4, add this 1. Look at that. That's how you check your answer. Okay? And if we started out again, we said 5 subtract 1 equals 4. Turn around and check it. 4 plus 1 equals 5. There you go. So far, we've talked about some basic facts, very important in order for us to do our mathematics, okay? Those basic facts include knowing about our addition problems, our subtraction problems, our multiplication and division problems. So again, order of operations, more involved as we go along. And at this point, I want to thank you, and we'll be back. Hello again. We're back again to talk about order of operations. And now we have a problem which has brackets, parentheses, and multiplication, even though you don't see that multiplication sign. This is something that we'll be learning in our language all its own called mathematics. Now, again, remember this? Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Again, parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, from left to right, whichever comes first. Okay? So, with that, we're going to go inside the parentheses. Okay? 6 minus 3. We're going to take care of this right here. That's 3. Okay? Also, within this, that 3, we're going to multiply by 2. So we got 6. Now, inside the brackets, we've got 13 minus 6. So right here and now, 13 minus 6 is 7. We've taken care of everything that's inside this bracket, and we're left with this 4 times 7, and out here plus 3. So again, what do we do next from left to right? Multiplication. 4 times 7 is 28. And 3 plus 28 is 31. So we're going to write 31 over here. That's our answer. Okay, now what if we did something a little bit differently? We just started at the beginning. And we went 3 plus 4, and got 7. Handwriting. And then the next thing in line was 7 times 13, and that's 91. Minus 2 would be 89. And then the next thing in line was to multiply 89 times 6. And that would be 54. And carry the 4. 48 plus 5 would be 53. Subtract 3. And our final answer would be 531. A lot of work. And that would be wrong after doing all that work. So we must be able to follow the order of operations, because what we did beforehand, the majority of these things, we could see, number one, very easy. 6 minus 3 is 3, times 2 was 6. Then the next thing was 13 minus 6 was 7. Then we multiplied 7 times 4 and got 28, and added 3, 31. We did all those calculations basically in our head. Okay, order of operations. It's very, very important, because when your teacher, again, gives you, I'm going to take this book for a minute and get a problem for you. When your teacher gives you, says, evaluate an expression where A equals 2 and B equals 6, okay? And then they give you again 2 times 7A minus B. equals. And what you have to do is wherever those variables, and we're going to talk more about variables in the future, you see A, you put the value 2. Now again, remember, I said that whenever you have a variable next to a number, even though you don't see it, that means multiply. Okay? So we're going to, in those parentheses, again, we're going to do this, and then 7 times 2, that's the value of 8, minus B, which is 6, okay, equals. First thing we do, inside these parentheses, multiply. Keep this, we do what's in the parentheses first. That's 14 minus 6. And 14 minus 6 is still in the parentheses. So, again, 14 minus 6 is 8. And then 2 times 8, 16. And that would be our final answer. Okay. So, with no further ado, I think today we've talked briefly about our order of operations, giving a value to a variable, and still practicing order of operations, and then talking about our basic facts and how multiplication and division are related, addition and subtraction are related. Next time, we'll be getting more involved in some of our problems. They'll be more intricate, and we'll move forward as we get into quadratic equations, but that's way down the line. I want to thank you for having me on the show, and the math professor will be back. Take care. God bless.